Hey guys, Ghazzy TV here with another Path of Exile 2 video, and this one I'm going to keep myself as short as I can, but it's going to fail miserably to explain the endgame Necromancer, I was about to say, but endgame Witch Infernalist minion build that I've been currently playing with. We have a leveling guide posted and on the YouTube channel since before, linked in the descriptions down below. And what I'm going to do now is explain the mechanics and what is being done with this specific build. It's going through a lot of changes, so it might have some changes after posting this on YouTube. So do keep that in mind. I will have a link in the descriptions below to the skill tree that I haven't done yet. I'll show you in game. It will be available in the descriptions. However, later on, I will be posting all of my written guides on Icy Veins whenever that is ready. It's currently not ready at the moment, so this is what you have. Let's crack into it. First off, this build is going to utilize the Autobomber setup for the Summon Raging Spirits, also known as SRS. To explain how this works, I'm not going to do that in this video. There's a video linked in the descriptions below covering that. To keep this video shorter, because it's going to be a long one otherwise. First and foremost, we are using the skill called Grim Feast. This will reserve 30 spirits, and what it does is that it makes it so that when we kill enemies or revivable minions that you have die in your presence, there's a 50% chance that they drop a remnant. This remnant is like a white shard on the ground. If you pick it up by just running over it, you'll get a ton of energy shield. And this can overflow your energy shield. What overflowing means is that you can go up to twice of that resource. So I currently have 2,526 energy shield. That means I can get to 5,000. More than 5,000. 5,052 energy shield to be precise. Which is kind of crazy. However, in the current state of the early access, apparently if you're killing your raiding spirits with a form of minion instability, they count to Grim Feast Remnant. This should not work. And GGG are aware of this. Let me show you. If I summon some SRSs with the Autobomber setup, you'll see some white shards spawning. Let me turn this off because it will be really annoying otherwise. You see these white shards? I have 2,526 energy shield. I pick some up, and now I'm sitting on 3,500 instead. However, Grim Feast is specifically stating enemies or revivable minions. SRS is not revivable minions. I will have a fix for this, which will change quite a lot in this build once they do fix this, and running Skeleton Warrior setup instead, in which I'll have an update for the specific guide. I'll post on YouTube whenever that happens, but for now, this is what we have. So essentially, we have an Autobomber setup for Summon Raging Spirits with the Grim Feast. That's our defense. We are going to automate this because of the fact that we have to run over these shards to pick them up. If you're running whilst you're casting, you'll be much slower. So it's smoother to have this automated. Sometimes you might outrun the distance of the minions that are dying, which will then stop this auto-bombing setup, this loop. And that's why we actually have a secondary setup for Flame Wall. So I can self-cast Flame Wall as well as having it automated. So I can actually cast the Flame Wall, generating my SRSs on demand in case this ever happens. So that's why we run this setup. Besides this, we have obviously the Pain Offering skill, we're running Flammability, and we have a Shield Charge, which is just really smooth, because you can do this to move faster between packs, short cooldown on it. It's just a preferential decision, and that's about it. But I'm going to talk about the skills supports real quick, and then I'll talk about the gearing a little bit, and go from there. So first and foremost, from top to bottom, Skeleton Warriors. Doesn't really matter. I have Meat Shield in there. You don't need to. I haven't, just so they can stay alive long enough for me to use the Pain Offering on them. I have Maim, making them make enemies have less evasion and be slowed. Kind of comfy. Ruthless, just to help with stun build up versus bosses. It really doesn't matter. Just smack in whatever you want, blind or whatever support you feel like. Other than that, we have to summon Infernal Hellhound, in which you have to use Fire Exposure, since it's always igniting, allowing you to have exposure on enemies, making them take more fire damage. This is then amplified with Strip Away support gem. And after that, I'm using Magnified Effect for increased radius for them. And then the last one, I have a Culling Strike. Again, you can have Culling Strike on your Skeleton Warriors and just mix and match. Doesn't really matter. Just some extra debuffs and buffs that you can apply. Skeletal Relics. Skeletal Clerics, you'll want to use one of. If you can use more, depending on your spirit, without that lowering your Arsonist, you will do so. And the only support will be Ingenuity. So one, if you have enough spirit, just use two, but one is enough. Skeletal Arsonist, we are running as many as we can, and we have the supports being Immolate, Scatter Shots, martial tempo, and minion mastery. And the last one will be fire infusion, most likely. And you can have elemental focus, or you can have fire penetration. It's one of these three. And one of these three will also be the one you add for SRS. Cast a minion death's aura. We're using with Flame Wall, obviously. And we're lowering the cost with Inspiration so this doesn't destroy your mana pool. And then we're running this together with Fortress to make it a circle. For better targeting, your Arsonists want to shoot projectiles through these flame walls to do more damage. But you also want to make sure that you get as many SRS minions out as possible. So that's why we use Fortress. Grim Feast is supported by Clarity to help the mana problems, since we're not going to use those in the skill tree. Flammability, you don't need Ritualistic Curse. I like it because it's easier to target and hit enemy targets with this, because it's increasing the radius. Raging Spirit, we're going to use Feeding Frenzy to make sure that they take as much damage as possible. We're combining this with Infernal Legion. That's going to make them take fire damage based on their max HP so that they can kill themselves. And once they are low HP, at 35% or lower, minion instability support will make them explode. And then we have Fire Master, which will give them a level. And again, either LE Focus, Fire Infusion, or Fire Penetration will be the 6th gem here. Pain Offering is supported by Font of Mana for mana regeneration to help that a little bit. We have Font of Rage, which will make them give rage to our minions nearby, which is very effective for their attack speed, as that applies to Arsonists as they are attacking. Persistent to make sure that the buff lasts as long as possible. Shield Charge is just a preferential bonus if you want to have that. And the self-casted Flame Wall, I'll be using an Unleash support. And you could use Arcane Tempo. I like Unleash personally. But I also like having both of them at the same time. And then we run Spell Cascade, which is why it looks like this when you cast them, where you have 3 Flame Walls, because this will provide ignition, which will help a lot of other features that we have in the build as of for the time being. That's basically the setup that we're running right now. And gear-wise, weapon, you kind of want to focus on level of minion skills, and then if you get extra spirit, that's great. Other than that, it's life, damage, attack speed, it's great. All of those goes around, but level of minion skills is the most important one. Helmet, again, level of minion skills, life, energy shield, mana can work as well. But in most cases for this, it's life and energy shield in that order. Plus level of minion skills, any resistances you might need. I'm running with cap fire, almost cap cold, mediocre lightning, mediocre chaos. Shield I'm using is just life and energy shield. It's the same thing here. If you can get higher chance to block, that actually helps your survivability a lot, because it's like really good to have this passive block effect. Boots, these are terrible, but basically you're looking for energy shield, maybe energy shield armor bases to help mitigation. Stat, you have to get a high movement speed. Life, which I don't have as you can see, and then resistances. Same thing with the gloves, just armor, energy shield base, or energy shield base with life and energy shield, and then the resistances is really good to have. Same thing goes for the belt. It's very generic here. Amulets, rings does the exact same thing. You're looking for life, resistances, maybe attributes. That's essentially the only thing you care about. Amulets, however, you have the availability to getting plus level of minion skills. You want to have that. Don't skip out on the life mod and resistances. So I have a good amulet, but on amulets you can get both implicit and explicit modifiers with spirit. What is implicit, explicit? Let's not go into the details. The implicit is the 10 spirit on this amulet. Other amulets can have plus to stats or life regen, but that is an implicit modifier. Explicit is all the other modifiers on this list, and we are looking for spirit on both if you can. Chest piece, either a pure energy shield or an armor energy shield modifier. You want to have spirit on the slot and a high energy shield, and then obviously any sort of resistances is welcome. I have had a lot of success using the Soul Core of Takati on many of my sockets in my gear to help with Chaos Rest personally. The draught from the campaign, so the venoms or poison, whatever people want to call them. On the first one I took mana regen to help with that. On the second one I took chaos resistance. Skill tree wise, very simple. Ascendancy wise, we're going to start with the Hellhound. Secondly, you go for the Altered Flesh. Third, you pick up the Beidad's Will. You can do the third ascendancy by doing a 3-floor Sanctum or Sekama's trial, or a 10 challenge ultimatum. The last one, I don't know where to get this ascendancy. Either we're going the Beidad's Hand, or I'm taking 2 life notes. I will have to test this when we get there. I don't know at the moment. We are taking the minion damage nodes, going straight through the tree here. Don't forget to pick up Open Mind for some extra mana regeneration. And later on, we will be taking this node and the pure energy because of the energy shield. Make sure you grab any minion node that gets you revive minions faster, such as Living Death. This looks really awkward, but it is optimal. And that includes Gravedigger as well as Restless Dead. And then we're going to pick up all of the energy shield here on the side and all 3 of nodes here. Mana to help with the mana. And then revive faster and more energy shield. On the left-hand side, I'm traveling currently to get to this point to grab the minions of Chaos Rest to keep my Arsonist alive. We're taking the Lord of Horrors up here. The extra energy shield and max resistances, as well as max energy shield and life and mana over here as well from Eldritch Will. We're taking the left side here for Bringer of Aura. I can't even speak, Jesus. However, I'll be taking the life one here because that's also going to be very beneficial. I'm going to take the resistances, which will slow down the explosion of the SRS a little bit, but it's not going to be a problem because eventually they're going to fix the SRS problem and you don't really need to think about it too much, but I will be taking this later. Another thing you can do later on once you have all of the nodes that I've shown you is to go down to the Templar area, pick up Deadly Swarm, which allows you to take these nodes to scale the effect of your actual offering. After this, I am not sure exactly where I'll go. If I have enough gear pieces to get use of the Spiral into Depression, I will, because all of these nodes will actually provide me with the possibility of scaling both armor and energy shield to get that mitigation up. So that's very likely the focus of what I'll be doing. There are other nodes that are very attractive on this corner of the tree. 3 travel nodes will get you to the defensive reflexes, which help increase his chance to block, but also get you some mana gate of block, which is probably the main focus I'll be doing once I'm done with this specific approach. I think I've covered all the details that I need for this build. Hope you guys liked it. Again, I will be leaving a link in the descriptions below for the actual approach of the skill tree in a full-blown fashion. This is just what I have in game, but that might see some changes before this is, you know, fully ready. But I do believe that they're going to be changing the SRS spawning remnants, at which point I'll have another video out for you guys on this YouTube channel with the skeleton version, which is going to require quite a few drastic changes in terms of the skill setup. But I'll get you covered in that instead of ranting on and on this one. And that's it. I don't want to speak anymore. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content. I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe and keep rocking.